It is week 4 of our Scarlet Keys First Impressions on Optimal Play. I'm Brandon.
I'm Steven.
And we're here, 4 weeks into publishing our hot takes on the latest cards that we are doing, looking at them for the first time. It is our 4th consecutive video in this room, filming them as it grows warmer and we grow drunker. Cheers.
Yay.
So this is
we've been
sure
drinking for 4 weeks straight.
Yeah, right. I did go for a stronger beer on that one. I started with the low ABV, and this one is not low. But it's nearly 5 o'clock. Why not?
I found this on the web.
Whose Siri is talking? All right, this is, one take. That's how these videos roll. So, we are reviewing the Guardian cards today. Carson Sinclair and all of his buttling paraphernalia.
This is a good tie-in. I saw a billboard for they're making a Batman's Butler show, which I have zero interest in, but this is a thing that they're doing.
Really? Like a TV series about
Alfred. Yeah. I'm like, how
I might watch
have we
that.
really run out of superheroes so much that we have to make a show about the Butler?
I could see that for Marvel. I feel like DC.
Yeah, that's true. Marvel.
DC is not out of characters; they just keep making bad stuff.
True. Yes.
So, anyway, so we've been enjoying the box so far. We've been very lukewarm on the customizable cards, and
except for the Summon Servitor.
That card is pretty badass.
Yeah.
I'm excited to fly around the map with that. But here is the showstopper.
Yep.
Carson Sinclair, who has 2s for all his stats.
Yeah.
We're at a great start. He's the butler. I'm unironically very excited for him because I like to play a support role in a multiplayer game, which you've got to think the butler is going to be doing some of. You would think.
I mean, or he's starring in his own TV show.
Can't it be both?
I think if you're supporting, you're not the star.
Yeah, but there can be shows about the star who supports others. I'll be the star in my own mind.
Okay,
all right,
sounds good.
Oh man, his trade is even assistant. Off to a good start. You may take an additional action during your turn, which can only be used on the below ability. That ability is action. Choose another investigator at your location. They immediately take an action as if it were their turn. Limit once per round for each investigator. And then as an Elder Sign effect, +0, gotta love that, draw 1 card. You may resolve this effect anytime another investigator at your location resolves their Elder Sign effect. Ooh. Okay, so he really likes to stay piled up with the team, right? Because he gets... Go ahead.
So if you give the other 3 people an action, I guess you would have 1 action left?
Yeah, because one of those was a freebie, was an additional action, and then you used 2 of your normal actions.
It almost feels like if you're playing 3-player that you should just add a Carson Sinclair. Because if someone was actually playing Carson Sinclair, there'd be a lot of turns they don't really do anything.
Play 3 players play 4-handed.
Yeah.
So that you have a... it's not that different from... I have played 3-player Eldritch Horror, where we just played by committee a Charlie Kane, who in that... I think it was Charlie Kane, who in that game, buys items and stuff for other people.
Yeah.
So it's just a great way for the 3 of us to just get, stacked and be powerhouses without anyone having to play the boring, I'm just buying stuff for other people role. Not the worst idea. I've got to think the reality, though, is that the rest of that team is not always going to be piled on top of each other so that... Carson is really going to be using 3 actions for that. And presumably he'll have a deck with other things to do in it. We'll see. We'll see what kind of cards we got. What's his... 2 copies of his signature card.
First.
We didn't talk about the back,
deck creation. He has to choose Seeker, Mystic, or Survivor.
Oh, he's one of these.
This is the same as... Which set had these rules?
So Mandy works like this, right?
I feel like that there's a box where most of them work.
No, I think it was only 2. Because I thought it was Tony and Mandy. Did any others even... Who else was in that box?
Maybe it was just those
I kind of think it was not. It feels like something that could be like a all 5 classes in a box, but it's not.
But yeah, it's up to level 10, level 0 to 1 events and/or skills of your chosen secondary, which that is exactly how Mandy and Tony work.
Yes. So this is consistent. I've always liked looking at this as like you can learn something about the way you think about a character by which one class is not an option. Like Carson can be anything but a rogue. Like he is a rule follower. He ain't here to rebel.
Yeah, he may like sacrifice, some cultists or something, but he's not gonna steal.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like Tony, I think, was anything but a mystic. So it's like he is doing things with bullets and blades, no matter what. No magic for him. I always think that's funny. And then he has 2 copies of As You Wish, which is a skill card with 3 wild icons on it. It's a good start. Commit only to a skill test being performed by another investigator. All right, it's not so good a start. If this test succeeds, the performing investigator draws 1 card. If this test fails, you draw 1 card. Oh, so it's all upside. Yeah, I think that's like so. This does he should just say on him multiplayer only, right? Like this is literally unplayable.
Yeah.
Not even there are cards that feel unplayable in solo, but you could theoretically use them for their icons. Not this one.
Yeah. And As You Wish, is that the saying from Princess Bride?
Thumbs up from the booth.
Yeah.
Yes, Kyle off camera.
So,
confirms.
if you ever wanted to see Princess Bride remade by like an old butler,
who hasn't wanted that?
Like, oh, this sexy bandit, like, not doing it for me. I want an old butler to whisper me sweet nothings.
Yeah, this is pretty much the Opera show, I think. Oh, and then what's his weakness?
He's selfless to a fault.
Oh boy.
So Revelation, put it into play in your threat area. At the end of your turn, if you do not commit at least 1 card to a skill test performed by another investigator this turn, take 1 horror and shuffle Selfless to a Fault into your deck.
Wow, so this really is his shtick. He doesn't have the stats to do anything for himself, so he gives away his actions. He gives away his cards into their skill tests. That's it. That's what he has going on in his cards.
Yeah,
here.
like it doesn't actually seem like that much of a weakness because it's just telling you that you have to do the thing.
Yeah.
Like I actually would have thought it'd be like maybe he couldn't help for a turn or something like that.
Right. Which
that would be
really,
a much worse weakness.
That would be worse. Yeah, that would maybe be 2. Only Carson could a weakness saying like you cannot commit cards to other players' skill tests. Be like, well, now this is just game breaking.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I've got to say, like, I do like a support role, but boy, is he leaning hard into support. I'm curious to see what other cards are in here. What exactly he'll be doing because it is weird that he's a 4th action for each other player and a hand of skill cards for each other player. Well, the first Guardian card in the box with him is Obsidian Bracelet. It is a 3-cost asset. It's an item and a charm. And so that was Amina could take charms. Is that right?
Oh,
so we're seeing some charms in other classes here. Obsidian Bracelet. Also, I'll skip down because it has 3 health and 3 sanity, which it looks like is important because Obsidian Bracelet may only be assigned damage and/or horror dealt by treachery effects. And then Obsidian Bracelet may be assigned damage and/or horror dealt to other investigators at your location. You're not about to question why it works. All you know is you're never taking it off again. Okay, and it's a hand slot. I guess it kind of makes sense for a bracelet. I don't know. It seems like you should be able to also put something in that hand. But do we like this?
Well, it's 3 costs, so I think maybe it's meant to be played by Amina for free with a doom.
That's true, huh? That's exactly her discount.
And then you hope that you get a bunch of damage from treacheries to get rid of the doom. And if you don't, it makes you upset. But Kyle and I are fine with it.
Yeah, this again, like for Carson at least, it again just reinforces like you're putting all your energy and resources and effort into supporting everyone else, and you want to stay stacked on them.
Yeah.
And you more than ever want to stay on them because this is happening in the Mythos phase, so it's not like you can move in, do a thing, and move back out. Don't love the card. I think I would much rather. It's obviously a different slot; it doesn't compare directly, but I'd much rather run Brother Xavier, or we've seen a handful of other cards that can soak for other players, but don't have the limitation of where the damage and horror can come from.
Yeah,
They strike me as better.
An interesting use of this might be in Carolyn to like take horror, and that if you have other effects that can heal it off of it.
That's true.
Like, maybe some use there.
Yeah, and this. Well, I guess it doesn't matter for Carolyn because she's blue. I was gonna say this doesn't say it. This doesn't have heal horror, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, if you can find a way to heal an item, which I think Carolyn's signature card can heal anything, right? But that might be the only way in the game to heal this. Then this is more interesting. All in all, very underwhelmed by this. Let's move on.
Okay, this is me. Bolus. 1-cost events. Tactic. Evade. Attempt to evade using your fists. If you succeed and the enemy is non-elite, attach Bolus to it. Attached enemy gets -1 evade value and forced after attached enemy moves exhausted.
Oh, interesting. So it does two things. It lets you evade with your combat skill. Well, I guess it does three things. It reduces it makes it easier to evade them in the future, and it makes it so after an enemy moves exhausted would mean that when it hunts, it will not also attack, right? Because it would be exhausted at the time that if it's ready, it would attack. And then it will ready again at the end of the enemy phase, so it's only being exhausted just for that fleeting moment to skip its attack.
This seems very situational to me.
It is. Yeah.
Maybe if you're like, I want to do a no vengeance playthrough of Forgotten Age, but only with Guardians or something. Like.
Yeah, I can't think of a reason at least most Guardians would run this. Like, putting it back into, is this a Carson card, though? He's not trying to do things with his skills.
He's not, and he's not better with fists than he is with agility. It's definitely not a Carson card.
Yeah, this card's pretty hard to think of the use case.
Yeah.
But
maybe if you're teaming up with rogues that like having evaded enemies around or something.
Yeah, there's one of those in the box. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But next is Breach the Door, a 2-cost Guardian event that is an insight, a tactic, and police traded.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
I think Beat Cop is police traded, but I don't know if there's been anything since then. Test Combat 1. If you succeed, attach Breach the Door to your location with 1 resource on it for each point you succeeded by as leads. Reduce attached location Shroud by 1 for each lead on Breach the Door. Let's see those hands. In 2022, I don't want to roleplay being the police. But other than that, I think I like the card. Like, it is a permanent threat reduction. Or, sorry, shroud reduction to a location. Which, it's situational, but in some scenarios, there's, like, a location that is critical to get all the clues off of, and you can just trivialize it with this.
Yeah,
right?
and it's interesting. I was expecting it to be, like, test fists against an enemy or against the shroud, but you're just, like, swinging your fist in the air, I guess.
Right. Well, you're breaking down a door. You're just trashing. You're like a rock star in a hotel room. You're like trashing the location.
Well, but I think I would have interpreted that as maybe testing against the shroud, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is a little weird, a little arbitrary to be test combat 1.
I guess a locked door is always 4, and an unlocked door that you're knocking down because you're asshole police.
Right. Yeah. Again, this doesn't, in flavor and in mechanic, doesn't feel like a Carson card. I'm still waiting for, like, where are the cards that make Carson's completely docile support, like, makes that interesting, and I haven't seen it yet.
He doesn't need a lot of cards because he only gets 1 action turn.
That's true. Ugh. Alright, moving on.
Grievous Wound, 1-cost event. It's got 2 fight icons. It's a tactic. Fast, play after you successfully attack a non-elite enemy using a melee asset. Attach Grievous Wound to the attacked enemy. Force, at the end of the round, deal 1 damage to the attached enemy. Okay, so it's drip damage.
Yeah, so you have to land 1 attack. So you've already done some damage, and then this can finish off that enemy kind of over the subsequent turns. Oh, but this is... You play this after you successfully attack. So it's not... You're not risking this. You're not playing this and then taking the test.
Yes,
right?
but you do have to attack using a melee asset. So you've probably already done 2 damage.
Most likely, yeah. So you would probably... This is most exciting if it's a at least 4 hit point enemy. And then you still kind of have to be able to get away from the enemy and let it sit there bleeding out or something. Pretty situational.
How does this work with Nathaniel? Would Nathaniel do 2 damage every turn?
No, there's no way. How would that? That's a good
question.
question.
It is an event card, but it does attach. Is it still an event when it's attached? Maybe not.
I think it... Oof. And Nathaniel is what? It's a win ability, so it's like it's at the moment that you like are about to resolve the card. I think that it can't. I don't know. It doesn't. Generally, when a game has no way of remembering something, that means that it's not supposed to work. Like you're not supposed to have to write yourself a post-it note that says, "Hey, Grievous Wounds is doing 2 damage."
Well, no,
but,
you want it it has event written on it. You don't have to write yourself.
No, I just mean that like 3 rounds from now, if it's still out there, you would have to remember that Nathaniel played it and used his ability.
Oh, I see what you. Well, no. If he's the owner of the card or something, and the controller.
Yeah.
You do have to remember who controls and owns a card.
Weird. I did not know how this.
I mean, regardless, even if Nathaniel did do 2 damage, I would still rather just kill people with Nathaniel.
You'd be better off having a different event in Nathaniel.
Yeah.
It's like he has no shortage of very good events.
Yeah.
To fill up his deck. I don't see this making that cut.
Yeah.
Unless you're just trying to try the new cards, which I often do.
Yeah.
And then again, maybe Carson's gonna wield a machete and fight easy enemies, but if he can hit an enemy, I don't care about Grievous wounding it.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, unless it's something like, is it the like Strangleweed or something in the Forgotten Age that's like a 1 fight 6 hit point enemy or something? Like that's a good target, but that's so niche. I don't see Carson using this.
The really bad combo is to bolus an enemy and then Grievous wound it, and you spent 2 cards to like very slowly kill something as it
wanders around the map. Yeah.
Definitely not worth it.
Okay. I've lost track of who read the last card.
I read both the bad attack cards.
You read both of them?
The bolus and...
they weren't back to back. Okay, I'm with you. Then I'm going to give a motivational speech then. Choose an investigator at your location. That investigator may play an ally asset from their hand, reducing its cost by 3. Was that it? Are you motivated?
So motivated. So that's what Carson does with his 1 action.
Yeah. So this is a 0-cost Guardian event that is spirit traded, and it has parlay, so this doesn't provoke an attack of opportunity for what that's worth. Flavor Texans think they bought it. They certainly do not suspect the world is ending, Mr. Kane. That's pretty good.
Yep.
So yeah, Charlie Kane, who we haven't recorded our video looking at yet, but I have looked at his card. He chooses he's neutral and chooses 2 classes he can build with. So if he chooses Guardian, he can run this, and in flavor and in the fact that it's playing allies for a discount and everything, it feels like his card.
No, but it also feels like Carson's card. You have 1 action, and you use that action to play someone else's ally.
Yeah, anything that you can use to funnel goodness onto the other players is a Carson card, I guess. So, yeah. Again, Carson giving motivational speeches, he is very Alfred, isn't he?
Yeah. All right, 1 in the Chamber. That's a cool name, at least.
It is.
1 cost event. It's a fortune and tactic. Fast. Play at the end of an attack or effect that spends the last ammo from a firearm asset you control. Add 1 ammo to that asset. You get +3 skill value for your next attack with that asset this round.
Okay. I don't think we've ever seen this phrasing. Play at the end of an attack.
Basically, when you run out of ammo, you actually have 1 left.
Yeah.
And your last bullet is like more accurate.
Right, plus 3 skill value this round. So you need to be wanting to fire the gun one more time. Every blue card so far has just been so niche. Like, this is also pretty niche. You have to be on your last bullet, and then you have to want another bullet that round.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it can add 1 ammo regardless, even if you don't use it that round, but...
It's good with shotgun, I guess?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, if it's a gun that's low ammo, high impact...
Yeah,
it's pretty
and
cool.
that wants to succeed by a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's a little... I mean, I'm getting into the weeds on saying, oh, that's not the right kind of gun to match the flavor of this. Yeah, that's a good point. This would be good with a shotgun. I can't remember the last time I played a shotgun.
Yeah.
And it has to be an asset you can... Yeah, you have to be firing the gun, so not a Carson card.
Yeah.
Nope. But what about fighting lessons? Maybe he's good. Maybe he's a good teacher? It is a skill with a combat and agility and a wild icon on it. It's practiced and says commit only to a skill test during an attack or an evasion attempt. You can commit this skill to an investigator's test at any location. Aim and pull the damn trigger. It ain't hard, kid. Okay. Carson can use this to be selfless even when he's not stacked up with players, but for all other reasons he wants to stack up with them, so...
It's nice in a... What's the core set Guardian?
Roland?
Yeah, it's nice in a Roland deck with Practice Makes Perfect.
Oh, yeah. I have not circled back to Roland since Practice Makes Perfect came out. I haven't done that, but
because I mean, he likes finding deductions and stuff, so like, why not?
Right, yeah, so it's another practiced skill for him. But what it does is just, if it's a combat or agility test, it's 2 icons and you can commit it remotely. Like, I kind of think I would rather, why am I blanking on the neutral 2 combat icon that draws a card? Overwhelm? Overpower.
Oh,
Overpower. I think I'd rather play Overpower if I was Roland, other than, I guess the practice trait is the thing.
Overpower may even be practice?
A couple of those are, I think, but I'm not sure which.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, all right.
So next is Helping Hand. This sounds like a Carson card.
It does.
Innate, you may commit Helping Hand to any type of test, max 1 committed. While Helping Hand is committed to a skill test, double the skill icons of each other card committed to that test.
Remember in the Rogue video when there was that skill card that can get infinite icons based on how many actions you've taken, and then you brought up Double or Nothing, and I mistakenly thought we were talking about doubling those icons? This would double those icons.
Yeah.
This is cool. It is just a card that is some icons. Right? It's...
Yeah. I hope that... we need something like a Double or Nothing for this to be really good. I would love it. Maybe they reprint Double or Nothing, but it like, I don't know. It's like worse.
I don't know. Like the taboo list exists, and they still just completely deleted Double or Nothing. So I don't feel like there's a similar card that should be made.
Is there anything else? I mean, I guess there is Shotgun. Is there anything else that cares about succeeding by a ridiculous amount?
I mean, rogues obviously care about succeeding by 2, 3, by decent chunks. So this can help.
But remember, you have to commit at least 2 skill cards. So it's like you're not trying to just succeed by 2 with this combo. Like you're trying to succeed by like 5 or 6.
Yeah. I mean, there's identifying the ancient glyphs or something. The seeker card that permanently upgrades based on how much you succeeded by when you passed its test. But again, this is gonna be a short video because every single one of these we're just like, it's situational, kind of meh. Moving on. Like that's how I feel about this one.
Like again. I think most of the time, just unexpected courage is
better.
Better,
I agree. And I think that's a lot of the time better than fighting lessons too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, well, maybe this will bring up our morale. Bestow Resolve it's a level 2. There's no level 1 Guardian cards. We went straight to level 2. It's a level 2 Guardian asset that costs 2 resources, is a ritual, and uses an arcane slot. Okay. It uses 4 charges. And then as a fast ability, during a skill test performed by an investigator at your location or a connecting location, spend 1 charge. Commit a non-weakness card from your hand to that skill test, treating all of its skill icons as wilds. So this is just letting you commit skill cards and kind of and wildize their icons, right? I'm not missing any other benefit.
No,
and it lets you commit from a connecting location.
And yes, does all those things. And on top of that, I think it also lets you commit an extra card, right? You could do your regular skill card and this
yeah. I guess we haven't seen much in this game that breaks that rule, the committing one to another player's test rule. This one lets you commit a second one. And this doesn't exhaust, so this, if you want to blow through its 4 charges, you could commit 5 cards to someone's skill test. Okay, that's interesting. And I guess that is just supposed to be Carson's game, right? Is just his entire deck is going to be revolving around putting icons in other people's tests, and presumably other skill cards that do hopefully other good things too. Although a lot of Guardian cards I feel like are mostly the icons. It's Sure. Still par for the course so far, this box.
Yeah. Next is a field agent. 4 cost, 2 XP. Ally and agency. You get +1 intellect. And as a fast action, exhaust field agent and deal 1 horror to it. Discover 1 clue at your location. Day 15. The entities appear to be feeding on what I cannot imagine. I dare not approach further. And 2 health and 2 sanity, so can only do the discover clue twice if you cannot heal them.
Yeah. Oh wait, it was only treacheries anyway.
It's a good Carolyn card.
Can these things like Obsidian Bracelet? That's a bad example, but can something like what's the name of the True Grit, for example? There's a horror equivalent too. Can that take damage or horror that would be dealt to an ally you control?
No, because you do, well, you could put the horror on True Grit, but you wouldn't discover a clue because you would not have fulfilled the cost, I believe.
Oh, deal 1 horror to it if you replace that. You have not fulfilled the cost. That's interesting.
I think
so there's no other than healing it. There's no hijinks to like.
I think this is a Carolyn only card.
Yeah, and we don't. I have to expect, because this is the way that healing cards in this game tends to work, that because bandages exists, at some point we will see that, but for sanity, right? Someday. I don't know when. I guess we've already looked at the red cards, so it's not in that. But we will see brain bandages, and then that would be great with this.
Yeah.
Until then, seems fine. I agree. It's a Carolyn card.
I guess maybe if you're playing alongside a Calvin, and the Calvin keeps on playing the one that lets you move your horror onto them. What is it? It's a 0 cost Guardian fast event.
Oh boy!
Like basically, you tap it and you move your.
Solemn Vow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess anyone playing alongside a Calvin that consistently Solemn Vows you can play this. I suppose.
That's true. Yeah. Just keep sending their horror over to Calvin.
Yeah.
This is fine. I have a hard I have a hard time picturing myself using my ally slot on this very often.
Sure. Yeah, that's another reason it's mostly Carolyn, is that she's like the only one that doesn't want like Beat Cop or Guard Dog.
True. Yeah. Yeah. So many Guardian allies do revolve around like taking damage or defeating enemies or something, and this is neither. So and she likes the stat boost. Yeah, it does seem like a good Carolyn card. Whoa! And then we have a new guard dog. Right? This is
this is new art.
It has similar to Baseball Bat. I'm guessing that this is the new art that the revised core set had. I never bought a copy of it. So
I didn't even know that had any new art.
But. Yeah, they did. They revised the art on a dozen or so, not the minority of cards, but a few of them. I'm not sure why, but it's nice, I guess. So this is level 2 guard dog. It costs 3 resources. It's an ally and a creature. It has 4 health, 2 sanity, and then a fast ability, exhaust guard dog. Engage an enemy at your location. That enemy attacks you. And then as a reaction, when an enemy attack deals damage and or horror to guard dog, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So in a vacuum, now that this has 4 and 2 and can trigger from horror, like you can do the damage with it 4 times with nothing else. Yeah. And also you can force enemy attacks to do that damage right then. This, anytime you're provoking attacks intentionally, that sounds like Daniela.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that pretty much where you think this goes?
Or just any. I think if you're a guardian that has a little bit of extra XP, and would like regular guard. Tommy, for example, also likes guard dog.
Yeah, and this is a lot of soak that then Tommy cashes in.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
And like I think you can spend the 2 XP for the extra health, the extra sanity. And maybe once per game you trigger the fast, like on...
Yeah.
if they only do 1 damage and they only have 1 HP left, like, that's not bad.
True. Yep.
So yeah, I think if you have a couple XP lying around, I think some other Guardians... And you obviously want Guard Dog. Some other Guardians.
Yeah, and level 0 Guard Dog is a card that sometimes makes it all the way through the end of a campaign. Yeah. There's no upgrades to it or anything, but especially with bandages, healing it, or other tricks to use it a lot of times. It's a very good card. Ever since the core set, it's probably one of the cards that from the core set that has like stood up to the test of time the most, right?
And I guess this pays Tommy $6 now. That's insane.
Yeah. So that all seems very good. Yeah, I think this card's probably great. It's interesting. It was designed by the Council in Exile at Arkham Knights 2020, so that was like the online the chat. I didn't know they did an upgraded guard dog.
Yeah, I feel like if I was a council, I wouldn't be like, I want to take a good card and give it 1 more health and 1 more sanity. I want to design a new card.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a funny choice to do, like an upgrade to a core set card and a pretty. Like, there's nothing off the wall about the way that
totally,
went. Yeah. All right.
Good for you.
Oh, speaking of upgrades.
Yeah. And to call back to last week, speaking of tops and bottoms, handcuffs. This is 2 XP, 1 cost, item and police. Oh, so we have another police trait. Fast. Action. If handcuffs is not attached to an enemy, evade, use only on a humanoid enemy. This evasion attempt uses fists instead of agility. If you succeed, remove all doom from the just evaded enemy and attach handcuffs to it. If the attached enemy is non-elite, it cannot ready and doom cannot be placed on it.
So I've actually played handcuffs some. And I think I played it in a Daniela deck when I think it was with Kyle that we were playing Daniela and Bob, and so I was looking for slotless items so that I could just take advantage of Bob buying them for me. And that card was alright. Kind of niche. Not every scenario has that many humanoid enemies.
So what are the differences? Because I don't really remember what the first
I was just going to say, I'm having trouble pinning that down too. I'm pretty sure the first handcuffs were not fast. So it saves you an action. And then, let's see. Wow, I don't know what the other differences are. And the previous handcuffs was level 0, and so the differences are not even that important because it's not like you're necessarily doing an upgrade path. But I guess kind of in a vacuum, do you like this?
So for it's fast, but then you still have to spend an action to attach it. Oh, did the previous one, did it just... I don't know that it... Wait, what's the reason that it's fast and then you spend an action to attach it rather than you just spend an action to play it? I see. So it's fast, you put it out, then you attempt to attach it.
Yeah.
And if you fail, I guess you can, attempt again?
Sure, yeah. You have to pass this evade that uses combat instead of agility. So it's your combat versus the enemy's evade value.
I think the original you might have just played on them rather than this.
You mean like it was an event?
I think so.
That's possible.
No, maybe not.
This seems... The comments are all screaming at us right now, but yeah, Handcuffs is a card that I think I only really played that one campaign, and it's just not iconic by any means. I think this seems good, though. Like, 1 cost fast card that then kind of on your next... essentially on your next fight, because it's using combat. Like, you can permanently lock down an enemy, removing doom from it. It can... Here's why handcuffs... It's kind of... Now that memories of actually using handcuffs are coming back to me. why it was so good was that we were playing the Circle Undone, and we could handcuff witches and then go to their locations and just clear all the hexes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just locks them down, leaves them there, and it just became a like hex removal location, and this also does that.
Yeah, it's also a one-action way to deal with cultists that like normally you might have to parlay with them once or twice and then kill them.
Sure. Yeah. Get the doom off of them. So that it doesn't go to the agenda when they die or that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a good way to deal with the really kind of. There have been various takes on the like cultists over the campaigns, but they always are doom centric and always like make you kind of worry about how you approach them and stuff. And I think handcuffs are made to just be like or you can just handcuff them.
The downside of this is that it's like a situational card that costs XP, which is always awkward. Like if your last two scenarios don't have humanoids in them, you're like, well, I guess I just replace this 2 XP card. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas when you replace a 0 XP card, you don't feel bad about that.
Of course. Yeah, that's a good point. That makes it a little bit tough to invest into this. All right. There's yet another card that is an upgrade of a pretty old card. Prepared for the Worst, level 2. I'm a fan. Prepared for the Worst is a card that I put into decks quite a bit to find the weapons that I need. This one costs 0, whereas I'm pretty sure it used to cost 1.
Yeah.
And it's a tactic. It says choose an investigator at your location. That investigator searches the top 9 cards of their deck for a weapon asset, adds it to their hand, or plays it, paying its resource cost, and shuffles their deck. So this has dropped its resource cost, lets you use it on any investigator, and lets you play it without an action. I think that seems really good.
Yeah. I will say I have seen Prepare for the Worst whiff a lot, but I think definitely in the support playstyle, and basically, if you're either support or if you would play the regular one, then it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think Carson, because someone in your party probably wants to find weapons.
Yeah.
Carson runs this and wouldn't have run the level 0 version because he's not looking for his own weapons, probably.
Yeah.
And then, I think that this is a fine upgrade for anyone who is running Prepared for the Worst for their own deck.
Question.
If you're sitting on the XP.
If you play this alongside a Mandy and find 2 weapons, do you get to play both of them?
Yes. I don't see why not. If you choose to find 2 targets of the search.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
I think so. That is pretty fun. As long as you don't have slot issues or something with playing 2 weapons at once, then I think so. That's cool. Back to new cards though.
This one's me. Murder's Vambrace.
Okay.
Remnant of the Unknown. 2 cost, 3 XP. Item, Charm, and Armor. So I think a 3 XP Charm is another one that Amina could play.
Okay.
You get +1 skill value while resolving revelation abilities on encounter cards. Reaction. After another investigator at your location draws a non-peril encounter card, before resolving that card's effects, exhaust Martyr's Vambrace, you are considered to have drawn that encounter card instead. Oh, so you take it.
You get +1 to encounter card tests, basically, and you also can draw them for other players at your location.
Yeah.
This is cool. I like that the art is like a sleeve tattoo because I've kind of always wanted a sleeve tattoo but never really settled on anything. Maybe I'll just get this one.
I'm a little confused by the name. I thought it was going to be about like a vampiric embrace, but it doesn't seem to make anything to a vampire.
I don't know what vambrace means. Is that a real word?
I've never heard it before.
Me neither.
Yeah.
The one. So again, this is a selfless card, which screams Carson, I guess. Getting +1 to his skill resolving that card doesn't mean he's gonna pass. So he'll be just kind of suffering through getting hit by a lot of revelation ability or by a lot of treacheries if he is drawing extra ones by using this, right?
Yeah, I think it's totally fine to. I don't think this is just a Carson card. I think if you remember, Leo had 4 will. So he would be 5 will for will treacheries.
True.
Also, both Leo and Mark play a lot of soak, so they could just take cards that deal damage and horror and just be like, that's fine, I'll soak them. So I don't know that this is actually just a Carson card.
This does combo well with the Obsidian Bracelet from earlier, which I didn't think was a great card, but it soaks a lot of damage and horror from treachery effects specifically. So if this lets you take on extra treachery...
Actually, it does not combo, because Obsidian Bracelet already soaks for people in your location, and this only works on people in your location.
Welp, you're right. Yeah, I'm surprised, especially for a level 3 card. I'm surprised that you have to be at the location to take a treachery from someone with this.
Well, remember, you can do enemies with this. So if you could do any location, you could just take enemy. Like your seeker could go to the other side of the world.
Oh, that's
and
true.
You steal an enemy from
it
them.
Doesn't have to be a treachery.
So that would be like really good.
Yeah.
If it just meant seekers never have to deal with enemies, no matter where they are.
Right. You're right. That would be too strong. So you're not wrong. I didn't even think about that you could also be the one who drew enemies with this.
Yeah.
So for a guardian, that would mean you can you can cause enemies to engage you instead of
which is like
the other player.
Obviously, you don't get the +1 skill value,
Yeah.
but at least it means if you miss, you don't hit your seeker.
Right. Yeah. Or the seeker can go first and move away. It definitely is.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice with Trish, because then she always has an enemy. Like, she can go first and get the extra clue, and then the guardian can go.
Yeah. So, okay. It's a little bit of a tough sell at level 3 for me, but it is an interesting card.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be overcosted by one, but...
Right. So, we have more police.
Yeah.
With Girish Kadakia, the 4-cost guardian asset that is level 4. It's an ally and police. He can be assigned damage and or horror dealt to other investigators at your location. And then as a fast ability during a skill test being performed by an investigator at your location, exhaust Girish. Do you think I'm saying that right? Girish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess. I mean, I'm not an expert.
No, I'm certainly not. But anyway, exhaust him, and that investigator gets +2 skill value for this test. If this test is successful, heal 1 damage or horror from Girish. This seems really solid.
That's true, because you're doing both soak and skill value.
You're doing, soak, boosting skills, and then healing him so that the soak can continue, to soak.
And it's the kind of thing that I was sort of hoping for more of with Carson, is like where you actually have choices about who to boost and stuff, because you only get the 1 bonus. You do have to think about, okay, is it most important to help my fighter attack or my seeker investigate? So that's cool. And
an on-demand +2 can also help him with treacheries or the occasional evade or something. Like, it gets his skills up to 4, plus any other boosts. So using it on himself when he has to actually set out on his own, like a big boy, it's an option. I think this card's really good. Yeah.
I like it. So we have another upgrade here.
Wow.
Ever Vigilant level 4. Weird. Level 4, but not... Or no, yeah. Okay.
What?
So I was thinking of Stick to the Plan, because those 2 cards... And I was like, it's not exceptional anymore. But Ever Vigilant was never exceptional. I'm just confusing it for the other part of the combo.
Right.
It's a tactic... One at a time, investigators at your location as a group may play up to 4 assets in total from their hands, reducing the resource cost of each by 1.
Damn.
That's ridiculous.
So this has increased the number of assets that get played as part of this action, and for 1 less. It's increased it from 3 to 4, but the main difference here is that other investigators can do it, right? That's a 4 experience versus, is Ever Vigilant 0?
It's 1.
Oh, it is 1. Okay, so it's a 3 XP difference. Okay, that's good.
But you're playing this on Stick to the Plan, so at least you're guaranteed to use... Like, you're playing this on Stick to the Plan, and you're probably playing this turn 1. So it's like, you're always getting value for that XP you spend.
Right, yeah. As long as you have 4 assets to play as a team. But, this stands together, and then this is like pretty good turn 1 for Carson. And then he just gives away his other 2 actions, and like, all right, if you all lose from here, you can't blame me.
Yeah, and actually, so when he gives someone an action, they immediately take it. So if for some reason not everyone had an asset, you could first spend your action to give them an action and they draw.
Mm-hmm.
Then you ever vigilance, and hopefully they find an asset, and then you do the ever vigilant.
True. Yeah.
So.
Good point. So you can use your other actions to set up. That's something that we didn't really touch on about Carson, is that it does enable your team to take actions out of turn.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting puzzle to maybe squeeze out like the best efficiency and stuff as a result of that. I don't have anything off the top of my head that is like, oh, that can enable this awesome thing, but
yeah, I mean, certainly there's definitely times when I'm like, oh, it'd be nice to take this one action. Like maybe. Okay, here's an example. Your Kluver has an enemy on them with 1 or 2 damage.
Mm-hmm.
You want the Guardian to kill the enemy, but other than that one action, you want the Seeker to unlock the next location by spending their clues or something, and then you want the Guardian to follow. So it's like you give the Guardian one action, they kill the enemy, then the Seeker gets all the clues, unlocks the next location, now the Guardian can follow. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. Yeah, and that's so I think that there's a little bit of hidden power in Carson from that aspect. He's not just giving them bonus actions. He's letting people weave actions around each other in a way they can't usually. Anyway, that's Ever Vigilant. Little bit of a tangent. And then Hunter's Armor were 2 of the customizable cards.
Yep.
Yeah. It is a 4-cost Guardian asset that's an item and armor traded. Its entire text box says, and I quote, customizable. You cobbled this suit together yourself from the remnants of ancient armor, mixed with more modern, bulletproof plating used in the Great War. It's not much yet, but with some improvements, maybe it'll be enough. And it just simply soaks 2 and 2 and goes in a body slot. Some of the customizable cards have seemed fine at level 0.
Yeah.
This is not. This is a bad card at level 0.
It's the second worst level 0 one. I think Servitor does literally nothing.
That's true. This does something. You could spend 4 whole resources to soak 2 damage to horror, but I guess you could do it. All right. Well, unless you have any thoughts on the card so far, I'm going to start reading the customizes.
Yes.
Customizes? Is that
yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the customizers
You English
are
good.
as follows. I English so good. The armor can be enchanted. Hunter's Armor gains the relic trait and takes up an arcane slot instead of a body slot. Sure. For 2 experience, Protective Runes, Hunter's Armor may be assigned damage and horror dealt to other investigators at your location, which would make it like the third card in this box alone that does that.
Yeah.
For 2 experience, Durable, Hunter's Armor gets +2 health. For 2 experience, Hallowed, Hunter's Armor gets +2 sanity. For 2 Lightweight, Hunter's Armor gets -1 cost, and playing it does not provoke attacks of opportunity. For 3 more experience, Hex Drinker. After 1 or more damage or horror is assigned to Hunter's Armor from a treachery effect, you may exhaust it to draw 1 card. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I like that one the best.
And then Armor of Thorns for 3. After 1 or more damage or horror is assigned to Hunter's Armor from an enemy attack, you may exhaust it to deal 1 damage to that enemy. You probably just need 1 of those since they exhaust it, but they both seem very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like you plan around the last 2, and then you take... Like, if you take Armor of Thorns, you might pick Durable or Hallowed. If you take Hex Drinker... I guess, yeah, like, I think you pick one of the last 2. You also probably pick one of either Durable or Hallowed.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, although both of the Hex Drinker and Armor of Thorns both do trigger off of damage or horror.
True.
So
I guess you could take both Durable and Hallowed.
Yeah. I'm not seeing much value in Lightweight, spending 2 experience just for -1 cost and not provoking attacks of opportunity.
That's expensive.
That seems like a waste. Moving it from a body to an arcane slot, like I guess if you also want to run Flamethrower or something, right? But the body slot is not a super coveted slot, so I'm not really seeing myself spending experience on that. This almost reminds me of the Seeker card we previewed that was very like kind of very staple, kind of econ-y. Like this is kind of like if you want to be able to soak a decent chunk, this is fine. There's nothing all that exciting about it.
Yeah.
So, but the Runic Axe has got to be exciting, right? With a name like that.
Totally. Did you play the God of War that was Norse themed?
The most recent one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played at least a few hours of it. I tend to bounce off of long
my
single
God,
player
you're the
games.
worst.
I know. I told myself when I got a PS5 I would revisit it because I had a launch PS4 and it didn't run all that great on it. Now I do have a PS5. Have not gotten back around to it.
But yeah, this definitely looks like the axe from God of War. It's a 4-cost asset, item, weapon, and melee. I guess there's no runic trait. It's got 4 charges, and you replenish one of these charges at the start of each round.
Oh, wow.
As an action fight, you get +1 fight. Before this attack, you may spend any number of charges to imbue the axe with that many different inscriptions. You can do accuracy, +2 attack, power, +1 damage. I feel like so far I would always want to do power, because who wants a weapon that doesn't... I mean, you can do both.
Yeah, you can do both. My first reaction was that, oh, this card seems pretty good at level 0. But actually, if you'd want to do both most of the time that you attack, it uses 2 charges and they replenish 1 each round. That is not enough use.
Also, this is 2 hand slots.
Yeah.
It looks... It kind of looks like a one-handed axe to me. It's not it's not one of those big battle axes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, scale is a little tough here. It's on a rock or something, which doesn't really help you with... maybe this thing is 8 feet long.
True, yeah.
How can we tell?
So then the customizable card, you can make this an heirloom for 1 XP, which isn't that a thing in Betrayal Legacy? Have you played that yet?
It is, and I have.
Yeah. So in this game, heirloom means the asset gets -1 cost and gains the relic trait.
That's kind of that also was on Hunter's Armor, but who cares about the relic trait? Ursula, right?
Yeah, you can put it on that one Seeker ally.
Yeah, I don't know, the gaining. I get maybe the gaining the relic trait is just
Unearth the
thing.
Ancients. You can.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. All right.
You can give it an inscription of glory for 1 XP.
Ooh.
You add glory if this attack defeats an enemy. Choose 1, draw 1 card, heal 1 damage, or heal 1 horror. But that does count as one of your charges.
Yeah, so you're spending a charge on it.
You can do an inscription of the elders, which is if this attack succeeds by an amount equal to or greater than the location's shroud, discover a clue. Inscription of the hunt is immediately move to a connecting location or engage an enemy at your location. Inscription of fury, these are all 1 XP. If this attack is successful, in addition to its standard damage, deal 1 damage to each other enemy engaged with you.
Interesting.
That's the most high upside, but very situational. Now we get to the 3 XP ones. Ancient Power. You may imbue the same inscription up to 3 times. So before this, you had to do all different ones.
Right.
So that's interesting. So you could do 4 damage with 3 power.
Yeah.
You could draw 3 cards with 3 glory. You could discover 3 clues.
And it's up to 3, so you could do +2 damage and discover a clue.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
go all the way.
Really? It's all or nothing in your mind?
Well, if you're spending 3 XP on the ability to do it 3 times, you got to get max value.
All right, I can see that.
So then you can have a saga, replenish 2 of Runic Axe's charges at the start of each round.
That's better than Ancient Power, I think.
Yeah, so far it seems like there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, but you're going to be charge limited.
Yep.
And then we get to the last and the only 4 XP one, Script Weaver. For every charge spent, you may imbue the axe with up to 2 different inscriptions. So that's pretty cool.
You know whose deck I would put this in? Carson's. This is a weapon for someone who is not your main fighter. This is a weapon for someone who occasionally deals with an enemy. Right? They can get the +3. It's a total +3 combat. Right? If you do accuracy and the inherent +1 plus a skill card or something, and you can get a decent swing, and then just get a whole wave of effects. I had been thinking earlier about Carson. I was like, well, he's a guardian. They have the best weapons. There's got to be a weapon you would want to run with him that he can get help with the enemies some with. I think this might be the way I would go.
Yeah, I guess if you always take the accuracy one, he's not completely terrible at fighting.
No. And if you go, I don't know if I would spend the 3 experience on Ancient Power to take the same inscription 3 times, but if you do, then you could use accuracy twice and get a skill way up there, then go with damage or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess you may imbue the same inscription up to 3 times. that can be per inscription, right? So you have if you have 4 charges, you could. I mean, well, I guess
So
there's
there's
no way to have more than 4 charges on it. Huh?
Well,
I was gonna say
yeah,
you could
but
do
I think
3 and
there's
3.
one build where you do Ancient Power and Script Weaver, and so you spend 3 charges to do +6 attack for 4 damage. Is pretty good.
But Script Weaver, right, it's for each charge spent 2 different. Yeah, so you spend 3 charges to do each of those 3 times. That does seem very good.
Like you don't even need any of the additional options. Like I think the starting 2 are actually the best for that.
You don't even need the replenish twice or per round because if you're killing an enemy with that hit, you only need to do it every so often.
Yeah, the next turn, if you're Carson, you just give away all your actions.
Right. You do have to forego the obsidian bracelets to hold a 2-handed axe, but I feel like I could live without that. I'm looking at, was there anything else that feels like a Carson card that was a hand slot? Like, no.
Yeah.
So sure, okay, yeah. That I think I like this for Carson, but I also like it in general. I think this is one of the customizable cards that I'm the highest on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fact that it replenishes. I mean, I guess there's true melee doesn't even need charges, but like it is an interesting middle ground between regular melee and regular guns.
Yeah, I really expected this to have a customize that would reduce it to a 1-hand slot. I thought that there would be like lightweight or something in it, but I'm sad that that's not a thing.
Yeah,
but still, I like this. This is in a pile of cards that I've been mostly pretty meh on.
Yeah,
this is actually one of my favorites. Very cool. And then the last card is Custom Modifications, which feels like a redundant thing, right? Aren't modifications almost by definition custom? Anyway.
Well, no, I mean, like, what about, like, when you order a car, and it's a standard option on the car, you can spend $5,000 to get the performance model or something, as opposed to custom modifications would be, like, you pay, like, some dude who's like, yeah, I know how to jack up your car, but it's not, like, one of the standard options that the manufacturer offers.
Okay, so these are non-standard modifications.
Yeah.
Right, is what this card is. All right. So this is a 3-cost Guardian event that is an upgrade and supply, and this may shock you, it's customizable. Attached to a firearm asset you control, limit 1 per asset. As a reaction, when we reveal a non-auto-fail chaos token while attacking with the attached asset, exhaust custom modifications to cancel that chaos token, return it to the bag, and reveal a new one. It's like an old friend in your grip. Okay, at its face, it's a little expensive for just this ability, resource-wise, but I think that's a nice effect to be able to attach to a firearm.
It's
way more accurate.
I guess the only downside is just because it's a firearm, it'll run out of bullets eventually.
Right, so you're using another card on something that won't last forever, unless you're running custom ammunition, more custom stuff.
Yeah.
Reloading it can help. But yeah, I think 3 resources is too much, but maybe once we get some upgrades to it, it will be pretty solid. So those possible upgrades are, for 1 experience, you can add a notched sight. If you perform an attack with attached asset against an enemy engaged with another investigator and fail, you deal no damage. Oh, okay. Just takes away that risk of hurting your friends. I'm never going to spend an experience on that. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take that risk.
Yeah. If they want to spend the experience on it.
Yes, let Daisy spend an experience to check with the box on my card. I'll allow that, yeah. You can add an extended stock for 2 experience. You get +2 combat while attacking the attached asset. Seems good. Counterbalance for 2. After you attach an upgrade card other than custom modifications to attached asset, draw a card. So that is then custom ammunition, all these other telescopic sight, all these other upgrades you can put on a weapon really combo with this then. For 3, leather grip, custom modifications gets -1 cost and gains fast, play only during your turn. 3 feels steep, but that does make it way more playable. Extended magazine, after ammo is spent from or placed on attached asset by another event, place 1 ammo on attached asset. Wait.
So if you play another card that adds ammo, you give it 1 more.
Or if you play another an event that spends ammo,
like
warning shot. Yeah. That's a little niche.
I think the placed on is the more relevant one.
Agreed. Yeah, it's +1 to all your reloads. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really weird thing to say after it's. Because I had to think through, does it mean anytime ammo is spent? Like, does this part of the sentence also connect to another event part of the sentence? But it must. It can't possibly add an ammo every time you spend an ammo.
Yeah.
Like, it's not infinite ammo. And then last, 4 experience for Quicksilver bullets. If you succeed by 3 or more while attacking with attached asset, this attack deals +1 damage. I think that the Exodia weapon build has always been fun, so this would go clearly right into it, where you're just piling upgrades onto a one gun and mowing down enemies with your super gun. So I think this would be fun, and we'll go into that deck that has never been a great deck. I don't know, do you like it?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely... 2 of them, Counterbalance and Extended Magazine, are definitely, like, only good with a bunch of other stuff that modifies this gun. And, yeah, I don't know if that's a great deck, but it's fun. And then the other 2 that I was looking at are just Extended Stock, which is the +2 fight.
Yep.
And Quicksilver Bullets, which is if you succeed by 3, you deal +1.
Yeah, if you have both of those, potentially
It's
a lot
like
more damage.
Basically, just like this always does +1 damage, you know?
Yeah.
Which, if you just have a weapon, like, you might not need to do full Exodia if you have those 2. You might be able to just play one, like, reload type card or something.
Right.
Might be enough.
And this is a supply, so you mentioned Stick to the Plan earlier. This can go on Stick to the Plan, right? So you're not putting 10 experience into building this ridiculous card and then having trouble drawing it. Like, you can guarantee yourself to draw it, which seems good. I think I like it. I think I maybe like the Guardian customizable cards the best yet, even though the Mystic had the most off-the-wall, weird, fun-to-read cards. I think that these ones are better.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that the back half of this stack redeemed Guardian a little bit for me after I thought that the first half was pretty mediocre. And I am so torn on Carson.
Yeah, I can't tell if he'll actually be any fun to play.
Yeah, right? Like, I like a support playstyle, but I just didn't see where the fun was in this one.
Because if you think about Daisy and Carolyn, they do some support, but then they also get some clues, you know?
What support does Daisy do?
Encyclopedias, people.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah.
Or, I mean, you can use other tomes, but that's typically the one you go.
Yeah.
You can help them find cards, a book of lore.
Yeah.
And I guess even, like, Mandy is kind of support, because you can help
Min is another big support.
Yeah.
And actually, Min is probably the closest comparison to Carson. Like, she sits there throwing skill cards into...
But she still, I think, can only... her ability to add an icon, I think, is only, like, once per round.
I think it's once per person per round.
Maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
But, like, she typically spends, like, at least half of her turn just, like, finding clues.
Sure. Yeah, she's still probably the seeker for your team.
Yeah. So there's never... He's the first one where it just seems like it makes the most sense to just give your whole turn away.
Yeah.
Give your cards away.
Yeah. I'm interested to try him because I am such a fan of being a support player, but I'm almost reluctant to commit to a whole campaign.
Yeah, I kind of want to try it for like one scenario.
What if I get 2 scenarios in and I'm like, I am so over Carson. And I don't think we commented on this when we looked at him, but he has 6 health sanity, which is a below average amount, right?
Yeah.
Which means that the designers consider the rest of him to be kind of above average power level, right? Which he doesn't scream with two in all his stats. He doesn't scream super powerful to me.
Yeah, he actually, I think the most balanced thing, but it would be really awkward to write, is he should be like 9 health minus the number of players or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think he's bad at 2-player. Like, he's certainly not playable with 1 player. But I think he's pretty bad with 2-player. Because it's like, his stats suck. If you can only give one other person an action, I don't think he's worth playing.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't only play Carson at 3 players or higher.
Yeah. So I think actually, if it wasn't really awkward to write, his like health should be like 9 minus the number of players.
That I think would be really smart. Yeah. And also, I think they should just squeeze in multiplayer only.
Well, I don't think they need to make that restriction.
That's true. And, there are people out there who enjoy this kind of stupid challenge, and they will have fun true soloing Carson. But God bless you. That is not what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I guess we've seen fight support that was like soak, like Mark and Tommy a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, most of the support has been I support people and I also get clues. So
right.
I would have been interested in like support, but you also deal damage or something like that as a guardian thing.
Which is probably the idea here, because he's a guardian, right? He has access to the most deal damage cards.
But they didn't print any like new ways really to like get his fight up high.
I mean, maybe he's a front runner for someone who finally like regularly runs dynamite or something, like runs the kind of niche cards that just deal damage, and he has access to the guardian cards that do that. I can't think of another example besides dynamite, right? There are some, there's level 1 mono on mono. There's a few testless damage events that maybe he runs to be kind of that support but a little bit of damage, like you were saying. Yeah, like Carolyn is support but some clues. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll be curious to see what people are doing to peek at like Arkham DB and stuff. When actually, I think as of the time we're recording this, not even all the Scarlet Keys cards are in Arkham DB yet. But once they are, I'll be curious for what are people doing with this, like, because his mechanics just lean towards, well, you're putting skill cards into people's tests because you're giving them your actions. So are people just building him with 20 skill cards and a handful of assets, or what? I'm really curious. Yeah. So let us know in the comments what the hell to do with Carson Sinclair. Any other thoughts on the Guardian cards in the box before we go?
I don't think so. I mean,
yeah, I thought they were thoroughly whelming. Like some really interesting upgrades to cards that were fairly good at lower levels, like Prepared for the Worst and Ever Vigilance. Interesting to have higher level variants that seem quite powerful. But all the new level 0 stuff, I don't think there was a single one that I'm excited about. Oh well. On that cheerful note, that wraps up our Guardian First Impressions. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me as we are into our marathon day. Where was that sentence going? I was just going to say, if you have not subscribed to Optimal Play or liked and commented on this video, we love those things if you would do it. We've also been live streaming these as we record them for YouTube. We're also streaming on Twitch. Hi, Twitch viewers. And so if you missed out on that and want to catch us next time, we're doing something stupid like Iron Manning a box on Twitch. Iron Manning talking about a box of cards on Twitch. Follow us at twitch.tv/optimalplay so you don't miss that next time. Yeah, I think that's it. Until next week when we talk bone saws and gore. Like I think that the healer is going to be surprisingly a gruesome thing. Till then, be optimal.